Welcome back to Nino Kuni 2. So before we move on, there are some other things we need to do. We need to also get back to the kingdom just to make sure things are going out smoothly. So, in a moment, don't worry. Don't worry, we'll get back to... What?
We get back to... Sorry,
So
what were
now-
you going to say?
I was gonna say that before we move on to the boss, first I'm gonna show off a bit more of Leander's combat moves, and we're also gonna go back to Evermore real briefly, just so we can check up on the kingdom a bit. You were saying, Joe?
Perfect timing to go check up on your kingdom right as you're about to save the queen, who you need to kind of sign a treaty with your kingdom to actually help facilitate said kingdom.
It's okay,
Wow,
Joe.
wow.
Fortunately, the Lord of Darkness will just stay there, kindly waiting for us. So
It's just like, dang, ADHD much, Evan?
I didn't think Person of Interest would get weirder than the episode that had the guy from Crime of the Age in it, but now Finch is sword fighting? He must have gone to the best hospital in the whole land.
well, technically
To
that's
get
a
that
spirit
one
glimpse, but
fixed.
yeah, I see your point.
Yeah.
Also, interesting to be playing with Arkin at the lead, and yes, it does show that you can actually have fights without Oliver, I mean Evan, involved.
Oh no, the party
Yeah,
swapping in Inokuni 2 is perfectly up to you. You don't have any.
Yeah, you know, Pedro.
Even Final Fantasy
you
IX,
see
unfortunately,
that
for some reason, had that both
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IX had an annoying thing where, for most of the game, you couldn't swap the protagonist out of the party.
Well,
To
Pedro,
be fair,
a lot of
there's a good
JRPGs
reason
actually
in regards
had.
to-
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot
A
of
lot of JRPGs actually had that, so...
True,
that's
but
the
it was
thing.
always an annoying thing to me, honestly.
Of all, no, that's the thing, Pedro. Of all the cliches from the old RPGs that they actually want gone, that is the one that I care the most for it to be gone, because that actually, to me, made the most...
Dialogue, go ahead.
Whatever. So
Taylor?
the King's Cradle in Hydropolis is out in the middle of the ocean, huh? Which means even getting there must be a trial in itself.
yeah,
Sure.
we were kind of just there.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead, Liz.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
yes,
just probably
okay.
going off on dry land. If we had to go deep sea diving to get him, I reckon I'd have stayed at home.
It's weird how when Dwyb's voice is Tawny, she suddenly takes on a higher pitched American accent.
because
Because,
why?
yes.
Also, I love how we're just talking
All right,
about the
Dibs,
King's
talking to
Cradle,
yourself
even though
now.
we were just there.
Tain't easy being a king, eh, lad? You can't go wandering around the place whenever or wherever you like.
Well,
Says
yeah,
who?
responsibilities and shit.
Well, can't say as it don't sound a little stifling, boys. If one of the LPs ever need a little break, old Bartu here will be happy to cover for you.
I mean,
thanks,
I've
Batu.
kind of been traveling all around, but still, thanks for
And
the offer.
what's have they got to say? Well, no ruler worth their sorts to be wandering off without telling anyone. I mean, if old Queen Nerea disappeared all of a sudden, it'd be a national emergency,
Oh.
innit?
Yeah,
That's
wouldn't
exactly what happened.
wouldn't it now, would it?
But if I ever fancy going for a bit of wander, like, I'd take your bun that offer, Batu. You can cover for me, innit?
So
Totally.
Batu will take over as replacement
The
kingmaker?
Kingmaker.
Surely those would be some big shoes to fill.
Is this game trying to foreshadow a major character?
No, don't worry, that's not it. Anyway, might as well take advantage of this because I've been listening to the audios for this playthrough on my own for myself, and I noticed that I misunderstood two of Teo's questions from a previous part. So
Give you this shit of money. Go ahead.
So I wanted to correct on that. First, Teo asked me about the geysers in the Lucifer's Labyrinth. You know, that island where we were going to defeat Cetus to get the Aether. I misunderstood what Teo was asking me. I'll just say this, Teo. Those geysers are actually the game's way of foreshadowing the truth behind Hydropolis. And that's all I'll say for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course they are.
It's because the last time I think I was asking a different question about the geysers, so I misunderstood the answer.
Well, of course, Hydropolis probably has a problem, which Nerea's, of course, probably negotiating to try and get fixed, quote unquote.
What was the other question?
The other question was, if I remember correctly, too, you asked me something about the lore.
Being a volcanic. Well, no, the island being a volcanic one. Maybe that one.
No, it's not that. What I was, if I remember correctly, you've been asking me about. So this is the part where we're going to find out one particular aspect about how the Namco Bandai PR team kind of screwed up in terms of explaining
Okay,
the thing.
then. Sure,
because,
sure, sure.
because for those who don't know, don't worry, this is where we'll get that answer. For those who don't know, the Namco Bandai PR has been was saying back when this game was still being marketed that this game takes place 300 years after the first game. Let's just say,
from what I've seen, it's just not saying specifically several hundreds.
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen the whole 300 years thing, but admittedly, from every other source I've seen,
the point being, there seemed to be a conflict. In a sense that level 5 is saying one thing and Banco another, and neither side is telling the other, "Hey, you're wrong on this."
From what I've seen on Wikipedia, if I'm spoiling myself.
oh, well, remember they got me from behind too.
Yeah. It's just that you haven't had one of those in a while. Go ahead, Jova.
From what I've seen on Wikipedia synopsis, without spoiling myself, like only up to the point we've gone to, and also from what I've seen on game forums, everyone seems to agree that, yeah, it does make sense that this game would be in the future of the previous one, to the point where Evan is apparently also King Tom's descendant.
They actually do imply that later, yes, which is kind of interesting because there's also parts in this game that.
Oh, whoa, one at a time.
It's interesting because that particular thing about Evan being the game does imply that he's King Tom's descendant, but then there are other aspects of the plot that kind of again conflict, like Teo said. So it's kind of a weird thing. Anyway,
maybe
Taylor managed to arrive here in his travels. Well, now if it ain't me little cat king friend, that's a relief. We're all set to kick him bucket right here on me own.
What happened to you?
He got hurt because of the monsters, because the monsters in this particular area are quite powerful.
Man, what happened by you then?
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Lofty. Well, you wore myself right up by making it here. I got this far, and I've not been able to move a muscle since.
But you're moving a muscle technically there.
It's a way of expression.
It's a way of expression, you dipshit.
It's a video
Would
game.
have thought I'd come corrupt before me both did, eh? Never mind. I've had a good run.
Taylor, come on now. You can't just stay there. Let's try and get you moving.
No, Evan, you shouldn't.
Does anyone in the party know any healing spells?
I
Yeah, right. I got that ounce of energy. Reckon this is me done for. It's the prettiest place to bring it. Don't. Fortunately, Taylor, we can just use a healing item.
Oh, okay then.
Huh, don't say that. You just need some medicine,
There you
that's
go.
all.
There you go.
Wait
We just
here and we'll bring you some.
there you go. We just defied the why can't you just use a Phoenix down on Aerith trope.
If only that worked on Galoof.
Well, Taylor, it's actually probably even slightly worse in Lost Odyssey because four of the main characters are supposed to be immortals and yet they can die in the battles. So
Well, okay. To be fair, Pedro, did they specify what type of immortals? Because, they just don't die. Period. Doesn't mean you can't die.
They don't die. Period.
Can it be a case of temporary incapacitated?
The game never specifies. It just says they're immortal and that's it.
Maybe they're
like
immortal in the sense that they can live forever unless somebody kills
will
them.
actually get to that game.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like in Highlander where when you die, so you get your head cut off?
Yeah,
There can be only one dweeb.
That's my theory anyway, that it's the kind of immortality that you can still be killed. You'll just live forever if
So
you know
the
you
final
live
boss will
really.
be someone in a green suit shouting like a madman, "This is the end of time!"
What's that a reference to? Highlander 2?
Highlander the
That's what we
source.
gave him. Put a right old spring in his step. We'll pay the back of cab stand soon enough. And there'll be a reward waiting for us when we do by the sound of it. Tidy!
Yay! All right. Basically, the first time you can, the deep sea cave, aka the abyss, as it's actually called in the game, because the name of the track is Deep Sea Cave, is where you can first find a treasure chest with the first ever 4-leaf swordway in the game. This is before you can buy it or even make it. So now that I've had it, I was actually able to do that side quest there, which is why I left, so I could resolve this side quest that was still ongoing.
All right. Anyway, Pedro, what I was saying before was simply that I think the game has given some minor foreshadowing about Evan's being descendant. For example, his starting wand is identical to the one that King Tom gives you in the first game,
very good.
for example. But it's also true that the planimetry of some things is different, but that can be justified by just simply the passage of time. Again, taking another clue for another from Dark Souls, the fact that time being convoluted and brutal on its own means civilizations rise and fall constantly around the world, and even the geography changes accordingly.
The rise
So
and
I
fall.
don't know. The only thing I don't know about it still made me question about the identity of this world, if it's a separate thing or an actual future version of one of the first game, is the fact that the library in Golpo has no mention of this,
Yeah.
at least not the books that we consulted. And again, they could be present or simply just didn't care about seeing and only look for contemporary stuff.
As far as I'm concerned, the only struggle you'll have with whether or not this is a sequel to the original or if it's an original is if you follow, interviews and whatnot, and if you take everything the developers say as gospel.
That's actually the problem, Jova. The fact that there's no clear side and no one wants to actually correct the other. The fact of the ambiguity of the situation in itself is causing the problem.
And again, this is why I'm just taking what I see from Wikipedia and from the game forums as pretty much, yes,
Wikipedia.
it's a sequel to the world.
To be fair, Jova, again, Wikipedia being Wikipedia
Yeah.
can be also
Well,
hogwash,
Tio, remember, I did not say just Wikipedia. Also what people who have actually played the games have said. in
True,
forums as
but
well,
I could do even better and just say that I take from what I've seen in the game, and I could say that so far the game has pointed to me in the direction that I was convinced with for the most part.
Sure.
Precisely. I'm coupling with that all thing. I mean, the only thing that may contradict that is what level 5 has said, and honestly, for all we know, maybe they just changed their mind at some point. Like
We know already
again,
that the game already. Well, I don't think already the game had interesting development cycle with things being reworked, changed, as we saw from the different trailers. So
yeah.
maybe at some point it was one thing, and maybe
Yeah.
it got changed later on. But again, I'll just
Yeah.
wait and see before formulating a final opinion.
Anyway,
So,
Taylor got
we did our side
So many
quest.
fishes.
we got a new shipbuilder. Yeah, and we got fishies for it. There you go.
So I guess his quest to finding his own kingdom went nowhere, and he just decided to settle down in hours.
Yeah, basically he's just,
Yeah, I called it.
that, and we saved
Well-
his life, so obviously he owes us.
Well, yeah. All right then.
Then again, it was kind of obvious considering how, he was given, the official citizen kind of quest.
Mm-hmm.
So where to next,
It's for the sake of the player always knowing in advance if the side quest will provide the reward that he's looking for.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the only one that'll really annoy is somebody who wanted it to be a surprise. And honestly, that may just be nitpicking too much.
All right,
Oh,
it's time to
more
level up some
leveling up.
citizens. Let's start with.
Battle?
Tiller.
No, actually,
Tommy.
no. First, we're going to put Tiller somewhere because he's yet to be
Oh, yeah.
assigned to something.
Adam.
Please.
Oh.
Go to 14, 4 minutes. 14.
Okay. Tiller, a shipwright from Captain upon Hull. He has a tendency to overstate his own abilities, which means he sometimes takes on more work than can handle. The Sky Pirates remain hopeful that he'll one day turn his hand to repairing sky skimmers.
Haha, good luck
Almost
with
there,
that.
Shirai. But, that's one thing about Evermore. He's against unemployment. I should probably go leave her as well.
Not just that, like, it's not even just that, like, Evermore is, let's just say, the whole thing about Evermore being a junction of various different races and various different people from various different, is also going to be
So it's like America.
Alright, Shirai, get ready and click.
it's also going to be, important for the game's themes in certain side quests and even in the main plot itself, but we'll get there.
Wow, so Evermore really is Kuni's equivalent to America the more we build it up.
I guess you can technically say that.
Well, it's it's got the conjunction of
My
all the different
geography
races
professor
converging.
called
It's got the
these,
Declaration of Interdependence.
Well,
And
yeah.
hey,
Well, not
Evan,
just that, Jova. They technically have the American president as the major consultant, so...
The chief consul, yes.
exactly.
Anyway,
Chief Consul, aka who's really in charge.
Yes, you see, Evan is just a puppet.
He wishes.
all right.
I think one thing I've noticed, it's funny you bring up the allegories because one thing I've also noticed is there seems to be a running theme in this game. It's corrupt leaders getting what's coming to them. Like, I mean, let's see. We had the leader of Goldpaw, who tried to scam people into what he considered the righteous system. Look how well that turned out. He lost his kingmaker, and now people are kind of leaving his city for ours in droves.
Don't worry, Diaz, I didn't miss anything.
Something similar is going to happen with Hydropolis.
We're about
Queen Nerea is even worse.
We're about to get very plot heavy in about like 5 minutes, so get ready.
Interesting.
Anyway, time to level up, citizens. First Batu. Go ahead, Whips.
What's interesting to you?
Whatever, we'll get to it.
I've been a part of the kingdom since day one.
Day one.
First.
Proud as punch of that. It's up to all hands such as myself to inspire the newcomers.
True.
Well, I need to be around the troops. Yar!
You were saying too?
No, it was like first. Well, no, interesting the fact that Hydropolis seems to be this plot heavy, so I'm really curious to see what's going to be about.
I mean,
you'll see.
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't Goldpaw also.
True, but this
hold
on.
It's nice to be working alongside young folks. It's dope to get into set in your ways, you king.
True.
I have been given a new lease of life and no mistake.
Nice to know. Well, Jova, whereas Goldpaw was more of a political kind of storyline, this goes back to classic level 5 territory with a heartbreaking emotional conclusion at the end and stuff like that.
Oh, there's still politics involved with Hydropolis.
There is, but this one focuses more on the... Anyway.
Right.
Hello, dearie. I'm in high spirits today, I must say. If there's anything that he's doing, just let me know. I'm more full of beans than a whole herd of Iggledies.
Like I said, Hydropolis is a fun city given the story plot, but gosh dang, in terms of how cities are run, Hydropolis is the worst city in Ni no Kuni.
So far.
Not just that, but
so far.
not just that. I also really like.
We know that Broadleaf has some problems on its own right now, but I don't.
We'll get there.
What exactly?
We'll actually get a good glimpse of what the problems are at the end of this part too. So you can look forward to that.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, foreshadowing. Oh, Fido, go ahead, Jova.
I have grown so much since I came to this kingdom. Coming to serve you was the best decision I ever made. Maybe I'll even be able to reconcile with my grandfather. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Later.
All in due time.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of rudimentary to have that kind of quest in an RPG.
Oh, young man. All right, Shira, get ready. Shira?
Oh,
okay.
God.
Go
I
ahead.
work harder than anyone, you see. Harder than Gaojai.
Harder than Bygone.
Harder than Bygone, and definitely harder than my brother.
Well, yeah. Basically, Young Main and Long Main have that typical sibling rivalry, obviously. Anyway, Peachy.
Unless it's
once again-
one-sided.
Once again, Shira, go ahead.
It hasn't showed up yet. I've worked my fingers to the bone, but it hasn't been entirely worth it.
It
But it has
hasn't.
been hey, shush.
Yeah.
Shush. I can feel my abilities improving day by day. Now I'm ready to find myself even tighter to this kingdom and leave a truly wonderful future.
Just to make sure, Shiroi, where are you right now? I'm at 1836, 37, 38.
I'm at the same place.
Okay, just to make
That's
sure.
the
Because
thing, Pedro. When you call stuff, it's the text shows up. You do it in advance, but the text shows up. Just a bit
okay.
later.
So I apologize. Sorry.
No, don't worry. It's fine.
It's
for,
fine.
Getting ready.
Just
All right,
something
time to
to
get,
think for the future, that's all.
All right.
All right. Everybody, get ready because we're about to finish chapter 5.
Yes,
All right,
boss fight. At long last.
Of course, it's chapter 5, the one that needs to be the most important.
Seriously, chapter 5 in this, school days in episode 5. What is it with the number 5 being turning point for these?
Jova. First of all, Jova, number 5 is how should I explain? It's similar to number 10. It's a complete number. But anyway.
I guess.
All right, here we go.
Oh, hello.
Well, would you look at that?
boy.
Corrupt. And wouldn't you know, just like I thought. I mean, she's got the purple taint on her.
Well, yeah, this is kind of Doloran's goal, so this was to be expected.
And there you go. She just gave him the king's ball.
Or rather, he took it from her.
I don't know. It's looking like she gave it to him. Unless my theory about him corrupting her is really more on the mark than I
Oh, here we
thought.
go.
This one. Backslash.
For that, I'm afraid.
So yeah, time for the big question from Doloran in a moment.
Henceforth, she shall be my puppet. Nothing more.
So she's
Who's the real
soulless.
dominator now?
Now. Tell me, why do you even
You didn't say please.
Oh, there you go.
think little of her? She is powerless, weak, unloved.
That's a good question,
Is it
Doloran.
any shock?
Would be nothing without its queen.
No, it would be a lot better without its queen.
Hold on.
Even
Queen's been a right bitch.
you would not understand.
Stop asking questions.
Whatever. We
You'll
gotta
see.
save the princess either way.
You'll see.
Then I would
So-
ask that you
yeah.
do as your queen did and surrender your feeble spirit to me.
Aha! So it was one of those kind of deals.
Well, I gotta give Leander this. He's loyal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's more loyal than she deserves.
I wonder.
This has gone on long enough.
Roland, this might be the good
You
time to shoot
shall
this guy in the face.
You have a gun.
All right,
Dang it.
ladies and gentlemen,
Boy.
meet the kingmaker of Hydropolis, Brineskimmer.
Yeah, I
My
think we
personal,
saw-
my personal favorite kingmaker. I love the design of Brineskimmer.
Yeah, I think
Wait.
we was in one
Wait,
of the
hold
trailers.
on. So,
Yeah, the water dragon.
Oh yeah, of course.
That is a cool looking kingmaker.
Brineskimmer, then the king's bond truly is broken.
Well, I'm surprised it took that long to break it, honestly. But yeah, we are screwed.
All right, boss battle.
Oh boy.
Well, let's beat him up.
Brineskimmer, Wavebreaker
Wave-
Kingmaker.
Do you even
Brineskimmer.
exist?
All right. I think it's some kind of wordplay involving water and or fishes, because you know skimmer.
I think.
It rhymes. Oh wait. Oh, you're talking about his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brineskimmer. Yeah, Brine is weird. They're not talking about pickle brine, are they?
I don't think so. Anyway, yeah,
They're
much
not
like
Party
with
Blue.
much like with Longfang, the yellow spots are the weak spots. However, this particular Kingmaker battle has its own unique gimmick to it that you'll see in a moment.
Can we climb onto him?
Well,
we
for
can
starters,
that
they can
dragon
that's
box
for-
parts
for a
too?
second.
That's for the Broadleaf Kingmaker, Jova. So you'll have to wait on that.
Aha, cool. So we will have an homage to Kingdom Hearts 2 and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, we will get on a Kingmaker's back eventually, Jova, just not now.
Well,
Boy.
shoot, I wasn't talking about that last slide. I was actually talking about the one
what
in the
happened to
land of
his
the
own
dragons.
Basically, till he covered himself in ice, which means now he can't be hurt except if you use the Higmakers.
Alright then.
Really? What would happen if you didn't have a fire hig maker though?
You can still hurt. You can still hurt him now. However, you'll have to get rid of the purple health bar before you get.
Oh jeez.
You'll have to get rid of the. You can still hurt him right now, but it will take a long time to get rid of the health bar of the purple health bar, so you can get back to the. There you go. The Higmakers create this awesome little gun that allows you to shoot at Brineskimmer. You control the reticle with the right analog stick.
Basically, Joe, remember, if you don't remember, the Higmakers actually
I know. I
created by
remember.
damaging the
Yeah,
Kingmaker itself.
oh, he
so
knows,
You
he knows.
cannot.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I remember that. Not to worry.
Okay.
But by all means, I guess you can recap it. Might as well.
No, it's
since
for
you're
because I
probably
thought
through.
that you were confused about potentially not having the right equal this, but in this case, for the case of Kingmaker battles, you shouldn't be worried about that.
I guess it doesn't matter which kind of higgledy you use. I was
Can
just
I-
thinking, hey,
Oh,
maybe
the
a fire
camera,
one would be able to
Jesus.
melt that ice.
Can I talk about how awesome Joe's boss Kingmaker music is?
Well, go on. The floor's open.
Well, I think it's self-explanatory.
Let me guess.
Just listen
left
to it.
you speechless, doesn't it?
Oh, it's just I love this boss battle. It's like this boss theme. It's just so epic and glorious.
There we go.
Oh god, he just did a double barrel roll.
There we go. Basically, whenever he's flying out there, obviously you can only hit him with either magic or the machine gun. So
Yeah.
basically, if you know what you're doing, you can shoot down the yellow spots with the machine gun. Obviously, it's a bit harder to aim because he's so far away. However, if you're good enough, you can do it. In fact, I'm about to do it in a moment, I think.
So, I wonder, is there a cool bit where if you strike him while he's charging up the beam in his mouth, it hits him extra?
No.
Ah.
Alright, and... Oh, fuck.
Oh, you were so close.
Oh,
So
God.
close. God damn it. Alright, we're almost there.
There we go.
There
Come
we go.
on now!
Alright. You still
Don't
there,
worry,
Shira, by
this
the
will
way?
just knock him out, even though it looks like it's obliterating
Yeah,
him.
he just fainted. Alright, what now, Fancy Pants?
Your Majesty, are you not hurt in any way? You there, Shira? Oh, there you go. Thanks.
I'm fine, Leander. Cease your
Alright, we're
fussing.
all five... go ahead, too.
Not one, but 2 kingmakers are now falling at your hand. Impressive.
Well, what can I say? I'm awesome.
It's a gift, but it matters little. I have what I came for, so havoosh!
Alright, now all five of us have roles, so if you don't got... so, have at it, guys.
Sure. Until we meet again.
I'll get you next time, Evan. Next
time.
What's stopping you from trying now?
Because I'm
Too
the...
much effort.
I'm late for a dentist appointment.
Alright.
Alright, really important scene now. Really important. By the way, I love the architecture of this palace.
I swear, if it turns out to
It's a
not be...
water palace.
Your loyalty to the queen really is something, Leander.
Alright,
Well, I mean, it's his job.
more than that, Jova. It is
Well,
no more
of
than she
course
des-
it's
It
more
is no
than
more
that.
than she deserves. Without her, our nation would be nothing.
No.
So
Hold
you
on,
keep
Bled.
saying, but what do you mean by that exactly?
Just let him
Let me guess.
Just let him explain.
Okay. I'm listening, don't worry.
Very well. Perhaps it is time that you knew the truth.
Oh, it's part of
Alright,
the
sit tight,
prophecy,
grab a
isn't it?
chocolate or something and this. Oh.
The palace in which you now stand was destroyed some 300 years ago, along with the rest of Hydropolis.
Yes, I called it. It really is Italy.
I don't see...
Someday.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen blew it up.
A great undersea volcano erupted, taking our nation and all its people with... There you go, too. See, that was... that's what those geysers were about.
So it's got
Oh,
Pompeii mixed with Venice,
Atlantis,
mixed with
You saw the
whichever
ruins...
of those-
there you go. You saw the ruins of Lucippus Labyrinth. These two were once inhabited by our people.
And don't
So
forget
the
to go-
kingdom was extended, was extending towards more places, but now it got greatly... Oh god, stop showing me
Our
that.
kingdom's continued existence is thanks solely to Queen Nerea's intervention.
Oh, she invented that? Oh wait.
You'll
no,
see. Hold on, Joe. You'll see.
Continued existence even though love is banned.
It is her gaze that protects us. Her magic, channeled through the great watchful power of the eye, that turns back time to save us again and again.
Wait,
We're
what?
we're going to get
that's nothing to
we're
lose.
going to get more specifics about what spell is that. Hold on. Were it not for Queen Nerea and the eye, we would have faded into obscurity long ago. However,
I
there
don't
is a
know,
caveat.
you-
There is a caveat, though.
If she dies, the city dies with her.
Well, not just that, though. But there is one great problem with this method of survival.
Nobody can have kids because that would mess with the time loop.
If the number of living souls in Hydropolis were to change, the great enchantment that Her Majesty has woven would no longer hold. Which, there you go. That's why the laws were. That's what the laws were about. No love, no going to high places, so otherwise you may die because of a
So
fall.
that's what all the
There you
laws
go.
are about. And no visit
To
from
prevent
Queen.
the number of lives from changing.
And that's wait.
Go ahead.
But what if there's someone new in the
One
kingdom?
life for one lesson, it all comes tumbling down, eh?
What,
It
Jovan?
all comes tumbling
It's
down.
weird though. Okay, wait, hold on. So
The
they're
Queen has
thinking the
maintained
number
her
of
vigil for 3
citizens who act-
centuries, never
So they're
knowing a
thinking the
moment's... Hold on, Jovan. Never knowing a moment's sleep. So that way, she's been keeping in watch for 3 centuries. You too would be short of temper. You too would vent your frustrations on those around you. So there you go,
No,
she's
I would just move, but anyway.
I mean, go ahead.
She has
continue.
been not getting any sleep for 300 years, but all that she has done for us. All that she has sacrificed, she sacrificed for her beloved subjects. Go ahead, Shiri.
Love it.
Leander, you know?
You knew, actually, but yeah.
Yeah.
New.
Whatever.
Past tense, you.
Your Majesty, you are unharmed, I hope.
My hip's a bit ill, but well.
You did. You knew all along.
That's because of my glasses, don't you know?
Having glasses makes me smart. Yes, and so I vowed to serve you, no matter what.
Remember, Dweebs, his voice by Shulk, he saw a vision.
Yeah, I guess.
I
Shiri?
see.
Awkward.
Hmm.
But the cracks
Oh,
are
God,
beginning to show at last. I fear that Hydropolis does not have long. Well, yeah, without her King's Bond, yeah, this probably will not last.
So, what to do then?
Move.
Fly the kingdom away.
Move, which is what you should have done all along. But anyway, I digress.
Go ahead, Shiri.
Do you remember, Leander? The promise we made to one another as children.
Aw, you're our own little Cloud and Tifa.
But yeah. So the queen. So yeah, no wonder the queen was always pissed off and taking it out on poor Leander. She hasn't slept in 300 years. She has literally been spending an entire.
Maybe she was still into her kinky stuff from
Or
the
that,
beginning.
sure. I tell you, who are you to judge?
Not at all, trust
okay.
me.
All right, go ahead. Hold on.
Oh.
Yes, I
There you
knew
go.
it.
They're childhood lovers.
One day we will marry, and you will be my king.
Of course.
Together. Promise.
Well, no wonder she became a dominatrix. She had to find some way to let steam off.
I promise. I promise that I will marry you. That I will always
You know,
protect you.
when most people like sleep, they drink a plethora of coffee.
On your
Sorry,
life.
Shiri, we
Oh.
don't have coffee in this realm,
I
apparently.
do, Your Majesty. I do.
I mean, it is a
But
king.
you have BDSM.
It is a kingdom by the sea,
Yeah.
after all. Oh.
Of course.
How could I forget? It is my most cherished memory.
Oh.
Now we have our voices back to prove it.
I gave my life to you in service.
But that was not what I asked of you.
True.
I asked that you become my husband, my king.
Well,
Hydropolis forbids it.
Dude, she's the queen.
He's not of
Pretty
royal
sure she
blood.
can change that law.
Do not
But-
pretend
Hold on.
You know. You know better than
Now it
anyone
explains why we're going to get that thing to begin with. Yeah, you already know.
Whosoever possesses the ether possesses
There you
the
go.
right to rule.
So you're
It was the
abdicating.
King of Hydropolis who brought it back with him, and with it claimed
I
his
mean, she
throne.
can still maintain the spell without being the queen.
Basically,
right?
yeah. So yeah, the law says that whoever possesses the Aether, which was lost to Cetus earlier,
Also,
This is the
Air
right
is
to-
clipping through her.
Oh my god, I only just... That's funny.
As queen, I can accept
Sorry, I
your
know it's an
offer.
emotional moment.
You must
It's
marry
okay.
you
me.
must
Did
marry.
you notice
You
that?
must marry me now. I commend you.
So, we're doing Code Geass Season 1 here.
That's not how it works.
Why?
I'm pretty sure she doesn't mean that literally, Dwebs.
Hey, Nerea, don't you think it's kind of unfair that you get to marry but other people don't get to? I mean, I know the whole kid
Also,
thing, but come on.
technically, if you want to be really technical, Evan obtained the Ether, so he should become the king.
Oh god.
No.
He is a king of something.
And I cannot allow that to happen.
I cannot allow this and that to happen. That's his
I did not
character's.
stay awake for hundreds of years for you to say no.
This realm
That's Leander's gimmick. He doesn't allow.
Also,
stuff to
get the hint, Leander. Jesus Christ.
a new kingdom.
So there you go.
Okay,
Nerea is finally ready to move on and let nature take its course. I love this line.
Not let it.
Should have happened long ago, but
I had to have one last day by your side. Again
aww.
and again.
So yeah, what I love about this is that again, not only has Nerea been sacrificing a lot from her own personal mental sanity to try to keep her subjects in her kingdom from dying. At the same time, there's also a selfish side to it where she just had to have one more day beside Leander again and again and again and again.
Your mind is made up then?
Yes. Unbeknownst to you, we secretly got married yesterday.
So come. Take your place by my
Yeah,
side.
get the hint and get in the bed, Leander. Come on.
Don't worry, he does. Right now,
I
actually.
mean, that's actually very good, Pedro. We're talking about venting frustration. Yeah, spend 300 years without, doing that. No, not even that, Shiri, without having to mate. Come on, that's gonna frustrate everyone.
Tell. Leander can restrain himself. Come on. He's a refined gentleman. Come on.
Well, she clearly can't, considering what she's been doing.
You are free. These travelers have need of your aid. Go with them. Forget the.
So yeah, as a reward for everything, for all of his service, he gets some time off.
But
So we can be our party members.
But what about the treaty?
That's okay. We were going to do the treaty as well. Leander joins the party permanently.
Oh yeah, we better be doing the treaty after everything I went through to get that blasted orb. Like you're lucky I don't claim rule of this kingdom myself to saw that.
Go on, Shiri.
Shiri, go ahead.
You have done much to aid us.
Understatement, but yes, I have.
My word is my bond. Your pact shall be signed. Speak with me when you are ready to proceed with the formalities.
And by the way, I apologise for being such a rude bitch and kicking you around.
I guess my question is this. Okay, so she outlawed marriage to make sure that nobody would have kids, but why not just say you can marry but you're not allowed to have kids?
Or tell
my guess is she didn't think things through, I guess.
I guess she wanted to cut the problem to the root, but that's also
But what if someone has a one-night stand or something?
Exactly my point. Like outlawed marriage.
Dwebs, this is a kid's game. We can't speak of one-night stands.
This actually makes me think of another
Yeah, but these are adult factors, Pedro, so I'm gonna bring that in.
So let me see if I understand correctly, Pedro. This spell allows the residents.
We're actually going to talk about that spell right now too.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, if someone accidentally dies, either for old age or because someone else gets stupid and assassinates him, I know there's the law about not harming each other, but just like you said, people on drunk occasion can do stupid shits. Does that takes away the spell?
It does.
know, but it's a loophole. I know it's annoying, but.
Also, I'm a bit
They banned
confused.
alcohol here too.
Well, a plot like this, obviously, there's going to have some suspicion of disbelief involved. Anyway, here's the actual one. The magic used to turn back time in Hydropolis is an extremely complex spell by the name of Rejuvenate from the first game of Ni no Kuni.
So it has been applied to an entire city.
Most wizards are only capable of using it to restore broken trinkets and so on, like in the first game. But Queen Nerea's skills are such that she was able to bring its effect to bear on her entire kingdom. So there you go.
Special snowflake.
Queen Nerea is a particularly gifted wizard. Alright.
Okay, so neat.
Alright. Go ahead,
Let's
Shiri.
move on.
Very well. Let us begin.
There you go, to rejuvenate from the first game taken to the ultimate extreme.
Yet another connection.
Not just that, I'll say more later.
If you would be so kind as to hand me the declaration.
But can you let me read it first? I never sign anything until I've read it.
You sign up
Certainly,
with
of
law.
course.
Let our nations be joined for the sake of the world.
You didn't let me read it yet.
It's
You
recited.
promised.
United we stand as one single land.
Alright.
This pact is bullshit, but I'm gonna sign it anyway.
That's bullshit, but I believe.
You're the last person to be
There you
talking
go.
about what's BS.
Only 2 sieges remaining, I guess.
So, which kingdom is gonna lose its kingmaker next, I wonder?
Our nations stand together.
Shiri?
And now I must
No,
it's
this
voiced.
Sorry.
That's the problem. It's really inconsistent whether they're spoken lines or not.
That is
I will admit, it's a bit odd, although to be fair, it's only really annoying for people like us who tend to voice lines.
Half the cutscenes have spoken dialogue halfway through the conversation.
I'm used to
but-
worse, so I don't mind, honestly.
I'd be just fine with it. Like I said, the only reason I think we're annoyed by this is because sometimes we voice stuff and whatnot. But I will say this, it is odd. Not a problem, but odd.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, when it came to, like, Layton or the crossover, you know, like, well, it was clear, you know, which points would have voicing in them and which wouldn't. Like, it was a lot more clear there. Here, I do have to agree with Dibs that it feels a bit confusing with what they consider important enough to get voiced and what's not important enough to get voiced. And it's weird, because, like, at this point, shouldn't Level 5, like, have the budget for the voicing, you know, with how much money Yokai
Plus, they're being funded by Bamco.
Oh, hi, Marv.
How strange. Yes, but I learned something there. I learned how fiercely a leader can long to protect their nation, and how much they can sacrifice for it.
And how much for bits they can be. Seriously, that woman kicked her beloved.
I will put it like this. I get where they're going with story-wise, but with Nerea, I do think that they showed a bit too much of her being terrible to the point of putting him under her boot, and it feels like we're more told than shown her good side.
I'm kind of on the opposite side, Jova. I don't think we have seen that much enough to
She was
understand
kicking
how.
her
That's exactly my point.
Yeah,
Yo.
one time.
Yeah,
that's exactly
I'm gonna have to agree
Whatever.
too.
Let me just hear this first.
Oh,
Come on,
okay,
Waves.
listen.
What do you mean?
You're too busy building your kingdom to notice anything else, aren't you? Right.
I'll see you soon, Evan. Bye for more foreshadowing.
Wink, wink.
See you soon.
I wonder, what if Doloran is actually this kid?
No, you theorized this already.
Alright,
Jova,
and now we get a brief little glimpse of what it must be like when he knows working on a game with his team.
Oh, there's glasses, guys.
Hey, Zip.
Oh, Jesus.
His name is Zip.
Yeah,
and
that's
of course
pretty
he's
accurate,
corrupted.
Pedro, I will tell you that.
So he's causing everyone at level 5 to develop heart attacks?
Please, sir, I need some
I need to keep working on this
In
game.
about a week.
If you don't sleep, if I don't sleep, you don't sleep either.
Alright, that was actually Zip Vector, the king of Broadleaf.
Oh, yep, I could tell because he has that purple tainted aura around
Who will be
him.
voiced by me, as I've already...
Of course.
Well, of course.
As some of you already know, I am Leander Aristides.
As you know.
Saw this a minute ago.
So, what role shall we put you in, I wonder? For your kind offer of
Remember, not
assistance,
everyone
I
knows.
hereby appoint you my junior consul. You will serve under Roland, even though you're probably older than him.
It will be an honor, King Evan.
I have more experience of this land than he does.
There you
Roland?
go, Roland, your own personal secretary.
Roland, I shall try not to disappoint you.
Something tells me you want.
Now go bring me my coffee. Yar, a fine appointment to be sure. I have only one question, mateys. Who will we be setting our path sign and sights on next?
Well,
Maybe a techno kingdom.
There are only two major nations left, correct? Broadleaf and Ding Dong Dell, which means we're going to Broadleaf, I guess.
Ding Dong Dell. Yeah.
Well, we can't avoid it forever, though.
don't worry, we won't let avoid it
We're
forever.
going there last because of reasons.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shirin.
Are we?
But isn't Broadleaf on the other side of the great big
Oceanic Rift.
Rift.
Oceanic rift?
An oceanic rift.
A rift. So
Yes.
what
An
we're
oceanic rift.
A type of rift.
Yes, in this
Yeah,
world
we're
there's an Oceanic Rift. You have not heard
So
of
we're
it.
going to
Interesting. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm still kind of new to this.
City
world.
on a rift. So we're going to go to Cardiff. Then.
Oh, jeez. The world
rift?
is literally divided in two.
The rift is a great tear on the ocean bed. It is said to have been created when a powerful evil shook the very foundations of the earth many centuries ago.
Dang it! You
Don't worry, Jova. We'll actually see that great evil for ourselves eventually. It's the horned one.
Dang it, Cesar!
It wasn't Shadar actually, it was the horned one, as we'll learn later.
Sure, I mean,
No,
Shadar
this
was kind
seems
of
to
behind
be.
everything, but I
This seems
kid,
to be
I
given
kid.
for Shadar, Jova.
I kid, because it's a little joke. Remember how Shadar was responsible for every single little microcosm of a thing that happened in the first...
Well, he was the villain.
Oh,
Precisely.
but we ain't flying. Our craft may be rare beauties, but they ain't made for distances of that nature.
True.
So we just have to get a ship that can leapfrog over a chasm.
Well, we need a proper airship.
There will be no need to fly. We shall simply have our boat leap over the obstacle. Basically,
I called it.
Basically,
is this turning into Fast and Furious?
Basically, Dwebs, Leander knows his way with boats, being from Hydropolis. I love Roland's face. So
But a boat that leaps.
What about Lofty's face?
Oh god, Lofty, you're putting on a frisk face there.
I didn't take you for a comedian, Leander.
You're doing a great job as our junior counsel.
That's reaction. Whatever do you mean?
You're the perfect comedian.
Can it really be the case that you have never seen a boat jump before? I love his reaction now. Forgive me. It is an everyday sight in Hydropolis. I had thought it must be so everywhere, but it seems I was mistaken.
Cultural barriers, Leander.
I'm with stupid on this one.
That was a really good reaction from Leander.
Yeah.
It was very gradual.
Could you make our ship jump too, Leander?
Leander.
It's my accent, okay?
Hey, I voiced Shulk. Show some respect. Certain modifications are required, but yes, with my guidance and proper facilities, you will be feeling it.
But of course, wonderful. And we must gather our best shipbuilders and maritime entities right away. We will make the ultimate ship. Not unsinkable, though. I mean, honestly, who the heck calls a ship unsinkable anyway and says that even God himself could not sink her? That just seems to be asking for trouble.
So many possible people.
Go ahead, Jova.
Only the cannon can sink ships.
Jova?
Oh, listen up, because here's some more big news for you all. The Kingdom of Hydropolis is the latest to sign up to King Evan of Evermore, Grand Union, and I'll tell you what's what on that.
Can this be true? Just what is he planning?
It seems everyone is joining the club.
Join the club.
Wow, Goldpo and Hydropolis.
This is simply amazing.
Amazing.
When are we signing up?
2 countries now. This is big. Jinx.
Many of our wisest are moving to Evermore. Sorry.
That's you, Shirai.
It's not really changing.
It sounds utterly fantastical, but it seems that our kingdom's strict laws are all to be dissolved. The queen herself has declared it. So
remember, we're moving on
does this
from
mean we are free to love?
She's
sounds marvelous in theory.
Well, I get that, but doesn't that do with the spell?
Well, no, but she's going to stop casting it.
She said, I'm just going to remove it and what will be, will be.
But what's going to happen to the machine?
Doesn't that mean that the kingdom's doomed then?
She's gonna let nature run its course.
No, that's the thing. I'll tell more after we're done with this. But go ahead. Boat Lover 111.
He wants to be a great hunter. I see him every day doing archery training. He almost never misses his target. He is amazing, and he is the same age as me. He has really inspired me to be lazy, not to be lazy, sorry, and to do something with my life.
I heard he wanted to go to another kingdom.
Yes, the Taskmaster is helping him.
Oh no, no Taskmaster, please, everybody.
Oh yes, Taskmaster to you. The next gifted individual I would like to introduce you to is a fellow by the name of Proteus. A jewel of genius, he was spurred on to excellence by the pain of a broken heart. He now aspires to learn new ways to craft wonderful items.
He looks like a lot, but I'm sure he's good.
I have a PC made. He's amazing.
Gosh, so he turned his sadness into beauty. How poetic.
That sounds like he needs to get laid.
Diary of a Dating Necess. I headed to Hydropolis intent on witnessing Queen Nerea's beauty up close, but someone else ended up catching my eye. I speak of the fair Lycorius. I wandered up to her, eager to make her acquaintance, but she put me in an arm lock and had me ejected. What a woman.
Oh, so it's Undyne.
So once again, he has no...
Undyne's not interested.
So once again, poor Monokoi has no luck in love.
So it's safe to say she's no fan of yours.
Well, perhaps one could say that, yes.
I have always thought merfolk were beautiful.
The course is particularly striking.
Marching into the palace was brave indeed. Sorry.
Well, I spent 3 days in the dungeons.
Goodness, your comment is impressive.
Wow. You really?
Just got thrown in a dungeon by Undyne.
But Twigs, it's all in the name of love.
What I was about to say about what happened to Hydropolis now is that, if anything, I was kind of expecting more, like a dark turn in a sense that the eye, when turned off, would have caused like a chain reaction, like it, for example, it fired a laser that destroyed part of a city or something, like an impact of that kind. But I guess not.
So, what's gonna happen with the eye?
Well, the eye can still be used for the sake of watching, just to make sure everybody's behaving and there's no crime or stuff like that. But
It
for
is
now,
person of interest. Even if it loses its purpose, it'll still keep going.
Dwebs, you're being watched. Anyway, what I love is that, again, it feels like a classic fairy tale to me. Like a queen who has a choice of two horrible outcomes for her. She either lets her kingdom fall into the unavoidable destiny of being destroyed, or she saves it at the sacrifice of her own sanity. Like that. That's and I also really like the fact that she has two separate motivations, a noble one and a selfish one. She of course does it for the sake of her kingdom, but at the same time, as she herself said, I love that particular line from her, by the way. Like, it should have happened a long time ago, but I could not let it. I had to have one more day by your side. Again and again. So I find it interesting that again, she can be both noble and selfish in separate ways. So that's a really good way to make the character.
But the first we saw of her is her kicking the guy. So she's been kicking him every single day.
To quote Leander Dwebs, if you spent 300 years without knowing a moment's sleep, without taking any rest, would you be in a good mood, and would you really not be venting your frustrations on others?
I think
I got fed up with this after 300 years. I'm leaving.
Oh yeah, but Leander is loyal and he loves Nerea, so.
I don't know, Pedro. Sometimes getting kicked over and over can test even the most loyal people.
Well, I guess you can say Leander is the most patient man ever. I don't know.
Go ahead, Joe.
I guess for me, like Tia said, though, we didn't see much. And okay, I think this does extend to a bit of an issue. So I think to me it's a bit unclear, though. So, like, how exactly will the kingdom get destroyed? Will it fall apart or something?
Undersea volcano. We explained that.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. If the rejuvenate speed was applied just to the city, shouldn't it be safe now that the volcano is already erupted?
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna happen at any point now. Now that
so you tell me that the city is actually built on top of the volcano, and the spell also afflicted it. You're telling me this?
Well, I don't. I don't know how long it will take because it didn't specify the exact specific time that she started the loop. But we know that's going to happen at any point.
That wasn't what I've asked, but whatever. Let's just move
My
on.
main point is this: like, I mean, again, I think that they should just move. In fact, that's what they could do now. And yeah, like the other said, how come she never tells anyone about this?
Toradora logic, Jova. Just move on.
Well, moving on then.
See ya.
Right, see ya.